Okay, so I hope you guys can listen me. So and you can see the screen. If not, just let me know if you face any difficulty. Fine. Let's start the class. So today we are going to discuss for loops. So yesterday and previous classes we have discussed about while loops and we have discussed if else, all that. Okay. So now let's see how we are going to use for loops. And yesterday's class I have introduced to one concept called range. Okay. So using range. So remember we used range. So range of 10 basically is going to give you range of 0 to 10, and to see the values we have applied list of range of 10 something like this. Okay, to see the values. So yesterday we have seen this. So today we are going to discuss on for loops. Okay, and inside for loops we are going to iterate over all the data structures. Okay, so list, set, tuples. Okay, tuple and a dictionary, and also we are going to see string iteration, and we will also try to look more other examples. And yeah, so let's do range first. Okay, let's use a range inside for loop. So generally uh, in if else or in while loop. Okay, so we have conditions, right? So we need to know where to start and where to when the condition fails, right, and when the condition is true, like that. So we always need to be cautious in while loop, so whether it is failing or not. Okay, so both cases condition is required, it's mandatory. But in for loop there is no condition required. Okay, in for loop it just starts and it stops between like in the given range. Okay, so it just needs to know the range provided. Okay, whatever the range that you give, so based on that range values, okay, it will start at that point and it will end at that point. Okay, so it knows when to start and when to stop, how many number of times it needs to iterate, it means it needs to loop over. Okay, how many times it has to go through the loop. Okay, it can easily understand because of the given range. So okay, so if I say range of 10 means, so that means there are 10 iterations or 10 loops that will happen. If I say range of 5 means 5 iterations. Okay, if I say range of 20, 20 iterations will happen in for loop. So it just needs to know what kind of range that we are giving. Okay, whether it is a list or set or tuple or dictionary or a string, whatever it is. Okay, we just need to know what is the data that we are passing. Okay, so let's see the syntax of for loop. Okay, let's see the syntax of for loop. Syntax, the way that we write for. Okay, for is a keyword, like we have written if, while and all. In the same way we are going to use for. So you can write any variable name. So I, okay, a, b, or anything, abc, anything, so any name. Okay, anything you want you can write here. Okay, so just we are assigning a variable simply for I in, so range of 10, let's say. Okay, I'm just giving a range of 10. So this I is going to point to this range values. Okay, I is going to point to this range values. Basically it's nothing but, so 0, 1, 2, 3, so on till 9 values, okay, are there. So range of 10 means 0 to 9, total 10 values. Okay, n minus 1 ninth value till 9 values, it will come. So 0, 1, 2, 3, so on till 9 you are getting, and I points to 0 in the first iteration. Okay, and directly I will be pointed to 1 in the next iteration. In yesterday's class when I showed you while loop, okay, so when I say number less than 10 and then afterwards I have iterated number plus is equals to 1, so this iteration happened, remember. So that number was changed from, okay, number was changed from, so number initially was 0, because I am doing plus is equal to 1, it has changed to 1. So this is what adding. Okay, this is what addition happening in the while loop, right? In the same way in for loop also it does in the back end. Okay, it changes from this number to this number. Okay, this number to this number in the back end, I will be incremented directly. Okay, I will be incremented. I is equal to I plus 1. Like that it will happen. So if I print I, so it will give all the numbers. Okay, 1 2. Here, like above, I am not using any list or anything. Okay, so directly I am passing I in range of 10. Okay, and I am printing I value. So I is iterating over and over and over until it reaches 10. Okay, until it reaches the point. So that means the last value, whatever the values that are there, it is going to print all those values and then it stops. There is no fail condition, there is no pass condition, there is no true or false, nothing is there for a for loop. Okay, so it just will come at a point and it will leave at a point. Okay, it knows when to start and when to stop clearly. So there is no bothering with a for loop. Okay, there is no need to bother about a for loop. Only in a while loop we need to check for a fail condition. We need to make sure our condition will fail in while loop. But in for loop there is no need to bother about the conditions. There are no conditions at all. But again, if you are introducing a while loop in a for loop, then that matters, however. So because you'll use while loop, so condition matters. But normally, so in a for loop, we know like it knows when to start and when to stop. So that's how it is going to give. So here I gave a range of 10. So it is printing 0 to 9. And similarly for I, so I'll not give I, I'll give something else, iterations, something like that, iteration. Okay, so range of 0 to 200. Okay, so I'll print I, I'll just add for every value, I'll add some 3. Okay, that's it. Sorry, iteration plus 3. Okay, so every value I have added 3. Okay, so 1 plus 1 plus 3. Okay, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 3, something like that. Okay, so that's what happened. So I got till 202, something like that. So 200 means 199. So that means 0 to 199 are the values. Okay, so 0 1 2 3 so on till 199 are the range values. So for every value I am adding plus 3. So 0 plus 3, 1 plus 3, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 3, so on 199 plus 3 is my output. Okay, I'm just doing like that. So as I told you, here you can give any name. Okay, not only I or not only single valued, okay, single letters. Okay, you can give a variable name. So whatever the variable conditions are there, so you can pass here. Okay, so like this, for underscore I've shown you, even underscore you can put. For underscore in range of 0 to, or let's start with 500 to 400. Yesterday we did this, minus 5. So it's a reverse so it's a reverse indexing kind of thing. So underscore is a variable now. Okay, underscore is a variable, so I can print underscore. Okay, but I'll just do some operation here. I'll divide each value divided by 7. Okay, I just print it. So every value I'm getting. Okay, so each value I'm printing, so like that. So I can give any variable name. Okay, so which is a variable. Okay, any variable name which matches the criteria of a variable. Okay, how it should be in Python, like that. Okay, so this is how syntax of a for loop is generally. Okay, syntax of a for loop. And inside for loop you can add while loops, you can add if, and you can add multiple for loops and all. Okay, so that means nested loops are possible, and we can write any number of loops inside of a for loop again and again. Okay, so for I in range of 0 to 10, and I'll do one more thing for j in range of 22 25. Okay, so that means let me show you. So these values are ranging from 0 to 10, right, so on till 9. and these values are ranging from 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. That's it, right? So these are the values. So now if I print I comma j, what happens is there is a trick here. So 0, 20, 0, 21, 0, 22, 0, 23, 0, 24. So what's happening here is initially I value is 0. Okay, in my first iteration. Okay, in my first iteration, I'll give you the explanation. So first iteration. Okay, let's speak about first iteration. I value is 0. Okay, I value is 0. And what about the j value in the first iteration? So this part is inside this bigger for loop. Now this is a sub. Okay, this is a sub part, and this is a bigger part. This whole thing is a bigger part, and this in this bigger part this is a small part. Okay, so in the initial stage when our execution starts, so our code starts from here, executing from here. So in this scenario I will be pointed to 0. Okay, this is my first iteration, I is equal to 0. And then coming to the next line, for j in range of 20 to 25, that means j value will be j is equals to 25. Okay, now then we are printing I comma j. Okay, I comma j. So what will be printed here? So printing I comma j means 0 comma 25. 0 comma 25 will be printed. Okay, that's what printed initial. Sorry, 0 comma 20. Why did I go 25? So 20 is the first value. Sorry. So 20 is the first value. So j will be 20 and 0 comma 20 will be printed. Fine. So that's what the first value. And coming to the next point, so this print is completed now. Now it doesn't go back to the bigger one. Okay, it only goes back until unless all the iterations happen in the sub part completed. Okay, once the sub part completes, then only it goes back to the for loop again to the bigger part. Okay, so now what happens is we are still in the first iteration only. We are still in the first iteration. Okay, but in the first iteration again now j will be changed. So I is equal to 0 only, and then j will be 21 now, and then that will be printed 0 comma 21. Okay, and then next part is again again there are values left over, 22, 23 and 24 are left over. So 22 will be now 22 will be j value. Okay, so now I is equal to 0 and j is equals to 22, and like that it is going to print 0 comma 22. Okay, so once it is reaching till 24, okay, once it is reaching till 24, that means 0 comma 24 is printed. Okay, 0 comma 24 is printed. So then what happens, it goes back to the bigger loop, changing the value of I. Okay, changing the value of I, that means, and now second iteration starts. Okay, once it is completing 0 comma 23 and 0 comma 24, then it reaches to second iteration, and in the second iteration what happens is I value will be changed to 1. Okay, and then j value will become 20, because again this particular loop starts again. Okay, because we are starting from the beginning. Okay, we are again going back here. Okay, we are again going back here. So now I value will be changed to 1 and j value will be 20. Okay, and that's how it is going to print 1 comma 20, and then next thing is 1 comma 21, like that, and then so on, 1 comma 22 and so on. Okay, so that's how it is going to print. So always the sub part will be executed first, and then it goes back to the next iteration. Okay, then only it will start again. Okay, that's how it is going to work in the for loop. So that's how these values are present. Okay, that's how these values are present. I hope you guys understood. If anyone have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay. So any doubts? No one? Okay, fine then. So moving on to the next example. So this is using a for loop inside a for loop. Okay, this is using a for loop inside a for loop. Now, next thing is for I in range of 0 to 10. Okay, and now I'll use an if. Okay, I'll use an if. So if let's write a condition. Okay, let's find all the even numbers. Okay, even let's do odd numbers. Okay, so I percentile by 2 not equal to 0. Okay, I percentile by 2 not equal to 0. So then those all were uh, going to be odd numbers, right? So print, sorry, again I wrote print I is a odd number. So 13579. So obviously, right? So 13579 are the odd numbers. Now here, like above, it's the same thing, but as we are using if doesn't iterate repeatedly, right? So if doesn't repeat it. So initially it starts with I is equals to 0, right? So once it is going through with I, sorry, 0 percentile by 2 is equal to 0, which this condition is failed, and it goes back now, and it will change I is equal to 0 to I is equal to 1. So now once it is changing back again, this will become 1 percentile by 2, which is not equal to 0 obviously, so that's why it is printing I as an odd number, right? So again it goes back, and it will change from I to I is equal to 1 to 2. So again 2 percentile by 2 is equal to 0. Then obviously this condition is failed. So this is going back again, and it will increment back to 3, and so on. It goes till the last value 9. Okay. So that's how it is going to iterate over, and we are using an if. Okay. The same way we can use while loop also, but let's do one thing for a while. For I in range of 0 to 10. Okay, and we need to have we need to make a while loop fail, right? So while condition should be failed, number less than 10. So print I comma number. Okay, so but we need to increment our number, but till now I did not you always have to assign a variable. Okay, so number directly cannot be used inside while loop. Okay, unlike in for loop. So now number is initially 0. Okay, so we are incrementing that 0 at a particular point of time. This loop will be, okay, this loop will be failed because we are incrementing the number. Now let's see what happens. So what is happening here? So it is stopping. Why? Because at a point, okay, initially with the 0 itself it is doing. So let's do one thing. We'll make number is equal to 0 here. Okay, I'll explain you why I'm putting number is equal to 0 here. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, so what happened here is initially, so when I'm using this for I in range of 0 to 10, So we clearly know I is pointing towards these values. So 0, 1, 2, so on 9, right? And here number is initially 0 and this condition is satisfied, right? This condition is satisfied and we are printing I comma number, which is 0 and 0. Okay, number is initially 0, I is 0, both are fine, and now number is incremented with plus 1. Okay, so that means number is equal to number plus 1. So when we are incrementing the number plus 1, that means now number has become, instead of 0, it will become 1. So 1 less than 10, the condition is satisfied and it is printing. Okay, and we are incrementing the number again. So 1 will become 2 now, 2 less than 10, and again so on, it will be printed. Again it will be incremented. Now number will become 3 and so on. It does the same because 3 less than 10, again 4 less than 10, 5 less than 10, 6 less than 10, until it reaches 9 less than 10 is fine. Okay, it has printed 9 less than 10, which is 0 comma 9. So once it is reaching 9, it will be incremented, and when it is reaching 10, 10 less than 10, this condition is failed, while condition is failed. Okay, while condition is failed, and then it is going to stop because, okay, it is going to stop because once 10 less than 10, this whole while condition is failing, right? Once it is failing, it goes back and it changes value of I, right? It changes value of I will be, I will become what now? I will become 1. And does there any change, will there be any change with number? Number will still be 10 only, number will not be 0 here. Okay, once it is going back, number is still 10 only, 10 less than 10 will fail, so again it goes back. Okay, again it goes back, I value will become now 2, number is still 10. Okay, so the condition is still failing, again it goes back, I value will become 3, and again still the number is same because we are not changing the number here, number is still the same 10. Okay, so it goes back again repeatedly until it reaches I is equal to 9, the loop executed, but this condition is failing, so that's why it is not printing any value. Okay, it has stopped printing at till 0 comma 9 only. Okay, so but only thing is, if I put this number is equal to 0 instead of here, if I put here, what happens is even this is failing. Okay, once it goes back to the bigger loop, after this line is executing, this line will execute. That means number is equal to 10 will become number is equal to 0. So it again iterates 10 times. Okay, once it is reaching number 10, 10 less than 10, this condition fails. Okay, and I value, I mean again it goes back and I value will become, I mean it will be incremented, and then this number will become 0. Okay, that means for every bigger iteration we are converting, we are changing our number to 0. Okay, we are changing our number to back to 0. Okay, so that's why this will work. Let's see the difference with the outputs. So this is as it is. This one I'll remove here and I'll put here. You can see the difference in the output. If you have understood, fine, but if you do not, just let me know, I'll explain it again. Understood? Okay, once more, fine. Okay. So let's focus on this line. Okay, oh, sorry, let's focus on the first two lines in this piece of code. So we clearly know the meaning of this one, number is equal to 0 now, and for I in range of 0 to 10, we clearly know I values starts from 0 to 9. So initial in the first iteration I value is 0, right? This is my first iteration. First iteration I is equal to 0, done. And number is already 0 because number value I have already assigned to 0. Okay, now what happened is, coming to the next line, while number less than 10, which is 0 less than 10, number less than 10 is basically 0 less than 10. This is true, right? This is true. Okay, so that's why we are printing. So I value, what is the I value? 0. And what is the number value? 0. These two are printed, done. Okay, and then next thing is number will be incremented to 1. Okay, number plus is equal to 1, that means number is equal to 0 plus 1, which will become 1. Okay, now till this part is completed. Okay, till this line is completed. Once this is completed, still this condition did not fail yet. Okay, so it goes back to the same while line. Okay, now number is 1, right? Number is 1. So now again it checks 1 less than 10. So this condition is true, right? So as this condition is true, it is going to print I value, which is 0, still it is 0, and number value is 1 now. Okay, number value is 1. So now we are printing it, and then the next thing is we are incrementing the number. So number is equals to, okay, number plus 1, which is 1 plus 1. Okay, 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. Okay, and the next case is it still did not fail. This part still did not fail, so it goes back here, and now the number will become 2. Okay, number is 2, so that's why the condition will be 2 less than 10. So this will be true, still it will be true. So that's why it printed 0 and 2. Okay, I value is still 0. Okay, I value is still 0, and now number will be incremented 2 plus 1, which will become 3. Okay, and so on, like this it will keep going on. Okay, so at a point it will reach number is equals to 9 plus 1, which will become 10. Okay, because we are incrementing until it reaching 10, and at this point 10 less than 10. Okay, at this point 10 less than 10, which will be failing. Okay, this condition is failed now. This condition is failed, so these two things won't be executed. So this is failed. So now what happens? It goes back and it reaches this point here now. Till this point, till it is failing, I value is, okay, I value is still 0 at this point. Okay, still 0, because this is uh, uh, this did not ended. Okay, this did not ended the first iteration yet. So it is I is equal to 0 at this point. So this is failed. Okay, this is failed. Now these two statements won't be executed as this is failed. Okay, now first iteration is completed. Now it goes back. Okay, it goes back here, and now I value will become 1. So second iteration starts. Okay, now I value is equals to 1, but what is the number? At this point number reached 10, right? At this point number reached 10. At the last time, in the first iteration, okay, the first iteration, while has executed 10 times, while loop has executed 10 times. In the 10th time, number has incremented and number value is 10. Okay, so once the number value is 10, it is failed. and now we started second iteration. When we started second iteration, so number has reached 10. Now number value is not changed. Okay, number is not changed yet. So number is still 10 only. Number is not 0 here. Number has become 10. There is no change of number. Okay. So when I am checking, so in the second iteration now I value is 1 and number is 10. Okay, I value is 1, number is 10. So now coming to the checking of while loop, so it will become 10 less than 10. The condition is failing. Okay, so that means this line, this condition failed. So these two won't be executed, and it goes back and it comes to the third iteration, and I value will become 2 now, and number is still 10. Number is not changed. Okay, number is not changed. So now again while loop, 10 less than 10, again it fails. Comes to fourth iteration, I will become 3 and number is still 10. Okay, and 10 less than 10 is still failing. Okay, so until it reaches 10th iteration. Okay, 10th iteration, I will become 9 and number is still 10, and 10 less than 10, it will fail and this won't be executed. So till which part it executed? Till 0 comma 9 it executed. Okay, that's why we got this output 0 comma 9 here. Okay, because number is not changing, number is outside of the loop. Okay, number is outside of the loop, that's why it is not number is not changed yet. Okay, number is not getting changed, but in this case coming to the down, number is inside. Okay, number is inside. So once this part is completed, in the second iteration, I value is equal to 1. Okay, I value is equal to 1. It changed from I is equal to 0 to I is equal to 1, and then number value is equal to 10. It was the previous case. Okay, number has become 10 because we are incrementing 10 times in the while loop. 10 times while loop is executed. So once it is executed, once it is reaching second iteration, again the program starts from here. Okay, so once it is starting again from here, when the program starts from here, I value will become 1. Now number has changed from 10 to 0. That means this part, whatever this part is there, so number has become 0. So 0 less than 10, obviously it is true, and then what will be printed? So 1 comma 0 will be printed, and then 1, so number is equal to 0 plus 1. Number has changed. Now number will be 1. 1 less than 10. This will be true. Okay, and then this will be printed as 1 comma 1, and then number will be 1 plus 1, and then 2 less than 10. This is for the second iteration. Okay, this is for the second iteration. So the print will be 1 comma 2. Okay, and then number will be incremented as 2 plus 1. Okay, and then 3 less than 10. Okay, which will be true, and it will fail at which part? So 10 less than 10. Okay, so the print will happen till 1 comma 9. Okay, 1 comma 9, and this fails, and again this goes back to this program. Okay, from the start. Now I value will become 2. Now third iteration starts, I value will be 2, number will be 0. Okay, so again it starts with 0 less than 10, which will be true like that. So for every iteration, when the program goes back, okay, when the loop goes back, so we are changing number is equal to 0. But here, when it goes back, we are not changing the number to 0. Number is always 10. That's why it printed till this part only. In the zeroth, in the first iteration only it stopped. It did not go to the second iteration. That means the second iteration values are not printed. Okay, so that is the difference between putting the variable outside and the variable inside. Okay, so that is the difference. Understood? Still doubts? Anyone? Okay, I hope clear. Fine then. So we have used while loop, we have used for loop, we have used if else, if loop inside for loop. Okay, inside of for we have used all these things. Now let's use a list. Okay, let's use a list. Okay, so list 1 is equals to, let me create a list. So this is my list. Okay, now I will access list. So what I'll do is list 1 print I. Simply I can access a list like this. For I in list 1 print I. That's it. You can, each and every value of list will be accessed. Okay, each and every value of list will be accessed. Previously I gave a range of 10, range of 200, range of 300, like that. Okay, so it is accessing the numbers. Okay, each and every number it is accessing. But here it is accessing, okay, it is accessing the values of the list directly, whatever the values it is. Okay, I can put anything inside the list, right? So I'll be putting boolean. Okay, I'll be putting complex number also, 1 plus 2j, something like this. Okay, so everything it is going to access, whatever the data type it is there, it will access as it is. Okay, not a problem here. Now there is one more way. Okay, there is one more way of using of accessing list. Okay, by using list indexing and all. Okay, let's do that. So remember one of the concept called length of list 1. So there are 7 values. Okay, there are 7 values inside the list, and when we are using indexing, we use the numbers, right, which starts from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, length of list minus 1. So what I'll do is, for I in range of, so inside range always there should be a number. Okay, so I'll be putting length of list 1. So based on this one, I know how many times the iteration will happen, because length of list 1 gives me the number 7. So range of 7 means, so now the for loop knows when to start. It's at 0 position it will start, and it will stop at the 6th position. That means 7 values are completed. So now I'll print. What I'll do is I'll apply list indexing. So now if I see, if I print I, I'll get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, total 7 values. But instead of printing I, what I'll do is, so generally we know list 1 of 0 is going to be the value of the first value in the list, and 1 second value, okay, and 2 third value, like that, right? So the same thing I'll be putting here, because I is going to be each and every value, right? So I is 0 in the first iteration, I is 1 in the second iteration, I is 2 in the third iteration, like that. So I'll put list1 of I simply. So in the first iteration it is going to access what? List1 of 0. In the second iteration it will be list1 of 1. In the third iteration list1 of 2, like that. So execute. So now I am accessing each and every value inside the list using the list indexing. This is the list indexing that we did, okay, using the length of list. Okay, based on after converting this into length, so I am applying a range so that it will become a range of 7. Okay, a range of 7. Length of list is 7, so it will become a range of 7. So if you don't know what should be the range value, I mean how many number of times your for loop should iterate, so you just need to put range of length of list. Okay, so if you apply length, obviously you will get the number, and for that number you apply range so that it will for loop will know where to start and where to stop. Okay, so this is how you can access a list. Okay, this is how you can simply access a list. I hope you guys understood. So if you have any questions, ask me. Okay. Okay, fine then. So let me go with the next one. So sets and tuples are also same. Okay, so there is no much of a difference. So let's go with the tuple. I'll do one thing. Tuple of list 1. Okay, so this is my tuple. So for I in tuple 1, print I, simply is going to access everything. So for I in range of length of tuple 1. So now tell me what happens. Tuple 1 of tup, right? So tuple 1 of I, same thing. Okay, same like above that we did. So this is how accessing a tuple. And the next thing I wanted to show you is set. Set 1. So 1 2 3. Okay, so for I in set 1, so print I. Okay, and there is no indexing in sets, so we cannot do set indexing. Okay, there is no indexing in set. And coming to the next one is dictionary, right? So let's create a dictionary, dict1. So key 1, value 1. We know dictionaries are key value pairs. Okay, so I'm just creating keys and values, key 2 and value 2, and key 3 and value 3, something like this. So now let's do it. For I in dict1, let's print I. So when I'm doing this, I'm getting only keys, I'm not getting values. Okay, I'm not getting values at all. So let's do dictionary indexing here. Okay, let's do dictionary indexing. So for I in dict1, so dictionary indexing is different than list indexing or tuple indexing, right? So it doesn't use zeros and ones, it uses keys as indexes, right? So what happens is dict1. So we know that I values are representing keys, key 1, key 2, key 3. In first iteration, I value is key 1. In second iteration, it is key 2. And in third iteration, it is key 3. So like that, for I in key 1, if you are printing dict1 of I, means it is going to print the values. But if you want to print both, you just need to add even the I values in the inside your print statement. You can just simply add your keys. Okay, so I comma, let's put and it's equal to here Okay, execute. So key 1, value 1, key 2, value 2, key 3, value 3, all that like. So instead of doing all this indexing and all the stuff, you can directly print for I in dict1 dot items. Remember the items function that we used in dictionary. So directly when you are, so we know that dict1 dot items gives output like this. Okay, it is simply accessing this one to print each and every tuple inside of it separately. Okay, that's what happening. So like this, a for loop can access dictionaries, strings, sets, list, and tuple. Now the next leftover topic is how to access a string. Okay. So any doubts in dictionary part? How we are accessing a dictionary and all? Okay. Fine then. Coming to the next thing is strings. Let's try to access string. So string, let's give one string. Okay, this is my string. So for I in range, sorry, for I in string. So if you print I, okay, it is simply going to print each and every value as a single iteration. Okay, the first iteration it is printing A, the second iteration it is printing V, third iteration I, so on till the last iteration it is printing N. So like this it is accessing, okay, it is accessing string. Okay, and then there is one more thing that, I mean, there are more things that we can do for in. Okay, okay, so let me take a bigger string. uh, I'm just taking some sample text. Okay, so this is some sample text that I've taken. So for my question will is something like this: print all the words ending with letter so some D. Okay, some D or whatever. Okay, some D. So let me write a program for this. For I in sample text dot split. So remember, when we are doing split, it will convert a text into a list, right? Sample text dot split. So it will convert everything into a list. Okay, list of words. So now what I'll do is, if I dot ends with, for a string. Okay, so if you take any string, so above we have string, right? String is this one. If you see string and if you do the tab, okay, you'll see all the functions, and here there is one function called ends with. Okay, and ends with, if I say it is ending with n, it is true because this particular string is ending with n, right? Because you can see the last letter, it is ending with n. Okay, so here also same thing I am applying. So I will find out all the words, okay, that are ending with letter D. Okay, if I dot ends with D, then I'll print that I. So I have these words that are ending with D. Okay, these are all the words that are ending with D. Okay, and like that I can also do one more thing for I in sample text dot split. So let's say I'll print I dot ends with mm, some letter like Y. Okay, Y. So print I. So these are all the words that are ending with the letter Y, like this. So you can find, okay, you can find, I mean, these kind of operations that you can do with strings. Okay, so yeah, so these are all the things that you can apply with the strings. Once you split and all, you can do whatever you want. Okay, yeah, fine then. So any doubts in this strings part? Of course, you can use any functions based on the questions, okay, based on the criteria. But yeah. So any questions so far? Anything?